E-Fluent, right?
E-Fluent, yeah.
E-Fluent.
Yeah.
What does that name mean, man? What is E-Fluent?
My man back when I was in college and at BCC, my man Adasa actually I think gave me the name. One day we were rapping and he's like, "You're mad fluent, E," you know what I mean? And I kind of just flipped it.
Yeah.
It's funny because effluent is toxic waste, like EFFLUENT, and you know what I mean. So
I didn't know that.
my shit is just toxic. My shit is the shit. You know
It's
what I mean?
just toxic,
Like yeah, man, just a bad dude. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, you know what? I was listening to your music just now, man. Bump it. I was listening to the third track in the album.
Oh yeah, I gave you the Broken Kings joint. Yeah, shout out to my guy Recognize Real. He made all the beats, and he's from Queens. He's a real good producer. And me and him been locked in for a long time together. I think probably 10 years we've been working together. And that's our second album that we put out together. Like he'll have a beat or two on my projects here and there, but then we do full length collabs together. And that was our second one. And that's a good album, man. I really like it. That's why I gave it to you. I fuck with that one.
Yeah, I can't wait to listen to the rest of it. But you just mentioned, you said you've been working with him for 10 years. Let's go back even further than that, man.
Yeah.
First of all, how old are you?
I'm 34 now.
And where you from originally?
Right here in Binghamton. I'm from the woods though. I was from Kirkwood.
Yeah.
So out in the sticks. And I grew up out there. I was the only child. I had a pretty decent life, you know. We didn't have no money or nothing like that, but there was love. I had both my parents. Most people don't have that.
Yeah.
Right. So everything was good when I was young. But when I got a little older, probably like 11 or 12, the evil started coming out of me, I guess. I'll be doing drugs, drinking, and just wilding out. I had a lot of anger, violence, all that shit. And, didn't really go to school, kicked out of school. So all that shit. I played sports and everything too, but nothing could keep me. Nothing could keep my interest. Yeah, everything was. I was running wild. I was reckless. So by my teenage years, I lived in Binghamton, and I just did whatever. And I had some crazy times. But all throughout this, when I'm young, I was rapping.
Yeah.
I started, as far as the rap shit goes, when I was young and I would like girls and shit like that, and I'd go home and write poems. I listened to rock and roll when I was young. When I first started listening to Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre and Biggie, shit like that when I was real young.
Let me ask you next. What are your influences artistically, man?
Well, that's who I would listen to when I was young. I didn't have no cable. Like I said, we were broke, and I'd go to my grandparents' house in the hood always. He lived in excuse me, out by Saratoga Terrace on the south side. And he had cable. I didn't have no cable. And he'd watch me when I was in preschool every day. He'd pick me up from preschool while my parents were at work. So I would get to watch MTV there. And that's when MTV was the shit.
Yeah. What year was it? 91, 92?
Probably about 92 to 94, around there. Those years. It was everything. There wasn't, the kids don't understand these days. There wasn't shows reality shows and shit, you know what I mean? I think they probably had The Real World, but that was legit the first one ever.
That was the first one.
Yeah.
Sure.
And but most of the shit was all music and music countdowns and stuff. So Biggie, I just remember being young and Biggie, I loved his shit. All the West Coast shit was real big. So Snoop and Dre, all their videos. But then I loved rock and roll too. All rock and roll was really good back then. So basically I would write, I knew I wanted to make music. I was just always mad musical. I knew I would call up the radio station all the fucking time when I was young. They had this thing called Name That Riff on 92.5 KGB. And they just play a second of a song, a guitar lick. And I knew everyone, man. I would fucking win all the time, and I was only 8 years old. They got a kick out of it.
That's awesome.
But that was just my shit. I just loved music always. So I would write my little songs, and I'd have girls I liked, or I'd be mad at my mom and dad, whatever the shit is, making your little songs. And I realized I had a lot of shit I wanted to say in these songs. And rock and roll songs, there's not many lyrics to, because they sing.
It's an emotion, right?
Yeah.
More of an emotion?
Right, and But for hip hop, they say a lot. You can talk a lot of stuff. You can speak on a lot of different things.
Right.
So that I basically just started writing little raps at my kitchen table after school. I remember being in like 5th grade, just starting writing raps, turning from like listening to Metallica to listening to like, what did I like back then? Like House of Pain, shit like that.
Were you influenced by Nirvana at all? Was that something?
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. We listened to Nirvana. When I was young, I loved the Unplugged album, the Unplugged that he did. I still love that. But I was into the grunge music, all rock and roll pretty much. I loved it all. There was just a lot of good music back in those days. But so I'd get into the rap and I'd write raps. So now I'm writing raps. And then, I get a little older and start going to parties and start rapping and just freestyling against kids. And that's how I really started, battling at parties. And I was the white boy that could rap. Because back then it was different too. There wasn't a lot of white rappers. And if you were going to rap and you're white, you better fucking be able to really bring it. You better be able to crack jokes, say, you got to be quick on your feet. Because motherfuckers will just torch you. You know what I mean? And a lot of people didn't even want to hear what I had to say regardless. I'm sure I looked really goofy too with my fucking 5, 6X white tees on and, you know what I mean? Shit like that. But that's how I started. And for the most part, everybody would always enjoy my shit and I'd make people laugh, da-da-da. So I think we would like record at this kid's house in the woods, like when I was like 15 or 16, that was around the first time I started recording. And I was like, yo, I like this shit. This could be something. Then I remember going to like a studio at NIPEN back when I was like 17, probably 16 or 17. And that was like my first real studio, quote unquote. A bunch of hood ass cats sitting around in this room with no walls in there, you know what I'm saying? Like, the start of walls, like it was like construction going on in there, and these motherfuckers didn't even know how to punch you in. They made me rap the whole song, verse, hook, you know what I mean? They said, oh no, I remember, I'll never forget, they're sitting around smoking blunts like, nah, this is how the professionals do it. This is how, I didn't know, you know what I mean? I rapped the whole fucking song. That was my first time though, and like I just knew I loved it, and it was something that I needed to do. So after that, I got into the scene around here, and I've worked with everyone and done everything there is to do out here. Exhausted all the opportunities and options, and then moved around, and I've done shit down south, I've done shit out in Cali, I've been all across the country with it. So it's...
So what I wanted to ask you, and that's awesome by the way, being able to live your best life in that way, because I mean, living your best life is what? Sort of doing the things that you love to do, getting paid for it, being recognized for it, right?
Right.
A little bit of that. So what would you say was some of the, for a lot of younger people out there pursuing their dreams and things like that, and even for yourself, just on a personal level, you overcome boundaries. You overcome. You break ceilings, glass ceilings, and things like that as an artist, and you sort of improve all the time. You always look to do that, and I know that's the case with you. Tell me some of the obstacles or hurdles you may have had to overcome artistically as a performer, as a rapper, and how did you do it?
Well, there's always shit that I'm still working on too, especially since we haven't performed lately. No one's been doing shows lately. That's just getting started again. Like, I'm gonna have to work on my stage presence all over again. That was always tough for me, because I got, I have rhythm and I can rap and flow, and everybody knows that, but I'm white as shit when it comes to dancing. I got no moves. I never have, you know what I mean? That's just not me. I'm just in the club, I'm on the wall with a blunt, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I've always been, and that's just my aura, my attitude, my whole everything, my whole existence. I don't dance, but I'm not against it. I just could never do it. I've had so many girls try to teach me over my life, and I can't do it. So for stage presence, I still have to be doing stuff. I still have to be engaging and moving. So I'm gonna have to be forced to look in front of the fucking mirror and dance around like I'm in high school. You have to do that shit, and I just don't like it. It's it's not that I'm like not comfortable in my skin, because I am. I just don't enjoy that kind of shit. So that's an obstacle that I'm personally gonna have to overcome when the shows open back up, and just get moving again and do all the nonsense. But one lesson I can teach anybody that's young, especially watching this or listening or whatever, is keep your mouth shut. In certain, what's the best way to say it? Like,
it sounds like there's a story behind it.
When you don't need to talk, don't talk. Just, there's so many times I've talked my way out of deals. Like, maybe not. I'm not talking about record deals, but just opportunities. You know what I mean? And some of them actually was a record deal at one point for some bullshit company back when I was about 22 years old. And I remember being on the phone with this A&R, and he's asking, you know, well, what can you do for us? And I just got a little, you know, uppity with him a little. I'm like, what can you do for me, motherfucker? You know, like, people don't like that. You gotta be chill, you gotta be cool. And most of all, you gotta handle your business, and just always know that, just be professional as you can when you speak to people that are trying to help you with your career. And even if they're vultures trying to fucking pick at your, just be professional about it. Be professional about shutting them down and telling them to fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, just do it professionally.
Say it in a nice way.
And right, exactly. And don't say anything at all when you don't need to. The less you talk, the better of a position you're in. Always. And that pretty much applies to everything in life. It took me a long time and a lot of mistakes to figure that out. You know, like, and especially when I'm young, and young rappers especially, just so fucking cocky. Nobody can tell me nothing, But then it don't take long until that shit fades away, and then you're like, oh man, they could have told me something, and I could have listened and grew and got this much further. But, you know, you're the only one that can hold you back at the end of the day. You know,
there's something about an ego in the younger person. They think they come on the scene and they're here to teach everybody how things should be, versus listening and learning how things. You know what I'm saying? Learning from somebody a little older. So I was
real bad with that shit, and like, you know, you realize when you get older, and then not to mention, you mentioned ego, and that's the whole thing. You got to kill the ego. Once you kill the ego, you can do so many things. Anything is possible. You gotta
humble yourself, open yourself up to learn more things.
Shout out to my man Grizz. He's been telling me that for a long time, and I always knew that anyway. But people tell you shit, and it don't matter. You have to really feel it and do it yourself. And then, but I wish I would have listened to his ass. And it ain't like he's old and wise. He's younger than me, but that don't mean nothing. You can learn shit from a baby sitting there on the ground. You know what I mean? You soak up your surroundings in your environment and just try to learn, and, you know, keep your mouth closed unless you need to speak. That's the best advice I can give anybody.
That's sage advice, man. So, you know, obviously the music is so good right now, and we're opening up from the pandemic. What do you give us a short-term goal here? Like, what are you trying to do just within the next 6 months or so?
Do some shows. I want to do some shows. That's all I care about. I want to perform. I got a lot of music to perform. I got a big back catalog. I got new music coming out. But I got like, bro, I could do like a 2-hour set if I wanted to. Like, fuck around and do. I got so much shit. I don't want to. I'm only trying to do a half hour, 45 minutes, whatever, you know. But I could do a lot. I could go all day. And I just want to practice and get my songs out there, and like see what people are feeling, see which ones they like the best, which ones they're not feeling. Just get it all out there. And
so tell us a little bit about what the music you got coming up. You know, you just mentioned you have some new music coming up. Like, I mean, it's up to you how much detail.
My newest album that just came out is called Acceptance. And everybody can go get that on all the streaming platforms. If you want CDs, you can get them on my Bandcamp. That is
Spotify and all that stuff.
Yeah, all the streaming platforms, everything there is, you can find that. And that's a good album. I'm very proud of it. This producer named Rona, he's from Poland, I believe. He produced the whole thing, and he just makes bangers. He's got a lot of old school sounding beats that I like, and just that boom bap sound that I enjoy. but he's kind of innovative too. Like there's this track called the Roaring 20s that's like, it's grimy sounding and just like, it's just a banger. So that album is out right now. Next up, I got an album that I actually wrote last year with this producer named Mindframe MVE. Shouts to Mindframe MVE. He's from Queens, I think, or maybe Brooklyn. I can't remember. I know he's from the city. He came up and stayed with me for a weekend, or a couple days of the week or some shit. A couple days he came up and stayed with me. And we made this whole album. Like, he showed me all his beats. I wrote it right in front of him, you know. It's called Killer Joe, based on the movie Killer Joe, which is a cult classic that Matthew McConaughey is Killer Joe. He's like this killer, he's a detective that moonlights as a fucking murderer. And it's like a trailer park classic. So I'm taking a lot of like samples from that shit, kind of like I did the house that Joe built was like the house that Jack built. You know what I mean? I'm kind of flipping it like that. So I'm doing this Killer Joe project. Mindframe made all the beats. I rapped on them all. We were gonna record it, and all of a sudden, my shit didn't work. I had some old equipment. Shout out to my man Clyde James. He just left it in my crib, and I had been using it for a couple years. He said he had it for like a decade before that. It was an old M box. So the shit died, and that, you know, that kind of blew my high a little bit. I was like, fuck. So we couldn't record while he was there. So then I went and bought a new M box and shit, and now, you know, recorded it and everything. So now gotta get it mixed and just get it put out or whatever. So even though it was written a year ago, it's gonna come out, you know, in a few months. And I also been rapping over all my favorite beats, just going hard, because I be seeing on the internet, they be reviewing my shit, saying some shit, oh, he just some mediocre bars, whatever the fuck. And when I see that shit, it gets a little fire in me. Yeah. So I've been rapping my ass off. I got this free tape I'm gonna put out, because I'm just going in over like my favorite beats of all time, and I'm just rapping my ass off on there. So just going, you know, at motherfuckers' heads. No one in particular. I don't got no beef with nobody. I'm living a good life, but I'm just going hard on that shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's gonna come out too. I don't know what it's gonna be called. The free tape, Joey free tape. I don't fucking know. Some shit. But those will be coming out, and you know, that Killer Joe's coming out, and there's this kid named Fleonidas. I know he's from the city too. He might be from Brooklyn. I ain't sure. But his name's Fleonidas, and I'm a big fan of his production. So I want to do an EP or something with him too. I had spoke to him about it previously, maybe last year. Anybody I talk to about doing shit, I like to get it done. It might take a little while. It might take a year. It might take 2 years until it's done. But if we spoke about it, you know, my word is my bond. That's all I got. So, you know. Yeah, that's that networking aspect, you know, following through and right. Sticking to your word and all that. Exactly. Also, the homie, now I'm not even going to say this because this didn't, it might not happen. I don't want to put it out there. It might not happen. So, but anyways, there's other shit I got going on too. You know, musically, I'm always gonna be doing stuff. Of course, you gotta keep them tools sharpened, right? Right. All the time. So we just covered like some of the stuff you want to do. You know, for the next 6 months to the end of 2021. Where are we looking at? You know, what are the goals? Some of the goals for the next 5 years or so. You know, we're trying to be artistically and sort of performance-wise and things like that. I like to be settled in somewhere, like not have to worry about where my next meal is coming from, not hustling. I got a line on that album, Acceptance, about not wanting to hustle when I'm 40, and that's closer than 20 is, you know what I'm saying? So like, I really want to be just low key and living good with my girl, maybe traveling. She wants to really just get like a RV or some shit and just ride around and like live, just, you know what I mean? Lifestyle. Yeah, like go across the country and see the whole country. Cause she likes driving and I like riding, you know what I'm saying? I get high and just look out the window like a dog, man. That's what I enjoy doing. I'll drive too, but you know what I mean? If that's what she likes, then that's cool for me. So I do kind of want to do that with her. And the way that the world is crumbling and you know, who knows how much freedom we're gonna have left.
True,
Like, I would like to say, yo, I want to tour different countries and shit, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to even get out of this motherfucking country. I don't know what's gonna happen, and I'm not making any predictions, and I'm not, you know, gonna fuck the YouTube up with any crazy conspiracy stuff and get us taken down. But I'm just saying, I don't know what's gonna happen, so I just want to be secure, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether that means I gotta become a crypto day trader right now, you know what I mean, and get the fuck on my grind, whatever it means, I just want to be secure in 5 years for sure.
Yeah.
Like, as far as music goes, yeah, I'm always gonna be making music. Shit, if we had an RV, I could make it in that shit in every state in America. Yeah, you know, like anything. Like, I'm just trying to have fun too. That's another thing. We ain't here for that long. Like, before you know it, this life is over. So just have fun, do whatever you can, because shit, man, don't take nothing for granted either. Every single day, just do something that you love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every day, even if it's just something little, because it's real easy to fall into the trap of the complacency and just be complacent and then wake up in 20 years and be at the same spot that you were in 20 years before. Haven't changed, haven't done nothing. But right, you know, never that exactly. That's how I want to be. That's how I want to feel. Never like that. But I see people get caught in that trap every day. And it's just like such a waste of your life, man. You don't have to be an artist if you're not an artist, but whatever you love doing, man. If you love fishing, make sure you try to get to the river or lake, whatever, at least once a day, or get something going on. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is you like. You like to play cards, man. Get the fucking, be the best poker player you can be. Whatever it is, you know? Like, just, and take advantage of the time that you have here and don't take anything for granted.
I'm sure we all do.
So 5 years from now, like, shit, I just hope we're alive, man. I hope we're here. I hope our country is thriving. I hope the world is thriving. I hope that we're not all in little fucking cubicle rooms plugged into the matrix. You know what I mean? Like,
there already.
Yeah, shit.
It's the simulation theory. It's going to be in a simulation right now.
It's really hard to believe that we're not in a simulation when you look at all the wild shit that happens and the backwards ass shit that happens, and like how it just don't make sense. It's hard to believe that we're not in one. Like, it's much easier to believe that we are in a simulation than we're not.
Well, you know, in this simulation, my man E-Fluent is making some crazy music right now.
That's all we can do.
So what do you like to do? What do you like to do for fun? Outside of, obviously, you know, you love what you do, you love making music. What do you like to do for fun otherwise?
Well, I got all kind of vices. I used to really drink. I used to love drinking. Like, that was my thing. I drank like a white boy. Like, I grew up coming up in the woods when I was 12 to make you funnel beers and do fucking crazy stuff. Like, when you're young, and you know, then next thing you know, you develop a habit. And I never was into drugs because we sold drugs. So I knew that they was bad because I watched what they did to motherfuckers. And, but the booze was always, I grew up in the culture of it. Like, you drink hard, we fucking watch football, play football, like just shit like that stupid ass jock type culture. And even though I was more street with everything, the way I lived and everything I was doing, I still had that in me. So I really like to drink heavily. And you know, that was one thing I like to do. I had my favorite bars, my favorite places, all that type of shit. But then I realized in my mid-20s that if I need to make moves, I gotta get shit done. And I can't do that if I'm wasted all the time. I can't go from point A to point B and get this money and go do this, to that. I can, but I'm sloppy and drunk, and I could fuck up and make mistakes. And there's no room for mistakes when you gotta make moves. So I transitioned from drinking to sex. And then I was addicted to sex for like, you know, I guess I'll always technically be addicted to it. But like from my mid-20s until like my couple years ago, early 30s, I was bad. Like, I was fucking all the broads and just not a good guy. You know what I'm saying? Not a good partner to the girlfriends or anything like that, but just living wild though. Like, I really lived wild. Movie Mike, he could tell you, he's known me for a long time. He knows. I lived like a nut. So, you know, sex was my thing for a while. Then I got this girl that I've been with now, I think like 3 years or some shit. And she kind of like, you know, I really love her. So it was, I didn't need that shit no more. But I needed to fill that hole. I needed to do something for fun. So now my bad vice is gambling. And I'm a fucking degenerate gambler, bro. Like, I have issues with it. Like,
What do you play?
Anything there is. I like to bet on stuff, bet on sports. I'll bet on a fucking 8th grade lacrosse game right now if I was watching it. Like, anything I can bet on. But so that's what I be doing for fun now. Just trying to stay out of trouble too. I don't like to go out too much because, as we spoke of earlier, keep my mouth closed when I need to, you know what I mean? Don't be talking too much. I'll go out, have some drinks. People are stupid nowadays. They're not smart like they used to be. They get all their information from the overlords in the government. They trust everything they say. They don't question anything. So I go out in public and I hear people and their dumb fucking opinions and the stupid shit they say, and I might have to pop off. So, you know, keep that mouth closed, just be smart and be quiet and just, you know, mind your business. That's how I do. The older I get, it's easier to do it.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
It's easier.
Yeah, just got matured and start to figure out certain things that...
And it's not that I don't love people, because I love the human race and I love to be around humans, but I feel like we're losing touch with our humanity every day and becoming robots and zombies more. Everybody's on fucking some sort of pill that the doctors give them, and the doctors gave it to them, so it's okay. My doctor gave it to me, it's okay. Like, oh, all right, okay. Everybody. And then if it ain't that, it's the fucking phone. You got this screen. My girl was telling me the other day, these blue lights in this or whatever the fuck it is real bad for you to be looking at all the time. And, you know, if back in the day you had wind down time, like, we would watch some TV or whatever, but then you go outside and play, fucking listen to the radio, clean the house. Nowadays, you got this in your face the whole time you're doing shit, and that's bad, bro. Like, and the kids don't care, bro. They're robots, they're fucking zombies, they don't care. So it's rough, bro. I want to wake them up, and like, I have great hopes for humanity. I want us all to live like real humans are supposed to live, like people and not like machines. But the way that shit's going, bro, I just feel like we're all just gonna be robots, bro. Robots, bro. Robots, bro. Robots, bro.